What's up, everyone? Andrea Rene here for What's Good Games. I'm at the Destiny 2 reveal event. We got to see gameplay, we got to hear about some of the future plans, and I'm here with Eric Osborne, the head of community for Bungie, to talk about everything Destiny 2. So, Eric, you guys have been holding back a lot of content. The floodgates opened today. How exciting is this day for you guys?
It's awesome. It's exciting, and it's also pretty humbling to see the response to it. You know, we wanted to come out big out of the gates and show people a lot of what we've been working on. 4 months to launch in September, and felt like a pretty good moment for us, yeah.
So we got 3 new subclasses. Can you explain a little bit about each of these classes and where they came from?
The ones that we're showing off today and playable is the Warlock Dawnblade, which is all about aerial superiority. So you leap into the sky like a phoenix rising from the ashes and just rain fiery death down on your opponents. It's super fun. It's really visceral, and I think it's a great example of how far we can push supers and to make them feel really powerful. We also have the Sentinel for the Titan, which is basically like a moving barricade, a shield that you can use to throw. You can block enemies, or you can throw it and like wing them off people's heads. It's just also super fun and really leans into the fantasy of the Titan as a force multiplier and up close and personal combatant. And then we have the Arc Strider Titan, which basically like makes a bow staff of electricity and becomes like Donatello and just smashes through enemy forces. You have the Striker Titan, which in the past had Fist of Havoc, now it has Fists of Havoc, and so there's a bunch of fun stuff there too that I think expectations that players have for old classes are going to be fun to play around with and see how they get, when they get first hands on, how they feel about them.
Hunter is my class of choice, and I was looking at the Golden Gun when I was playing in a PvP match, and I noticed it kind of has a nice fresh look, and that some of the skill tree items were a little bit different. Are all the subclasses getting a refresh?
Yeah, so all the subclasses in Destiny 2 have sort of a split path system, so it's a little bit different than what you saw in Destiny 1. So you still have the freedom to choose your movement mode, your grenades, but we sort of split the paths, we're calling them, into 2 distinct sections. So for example, the Gunslinger, you can go with the standard like 1 power shot, but you can also do a 6-shot fan. And so all the abilities around those things are kind of
like a true gunslinger.
Like a true gunslinger, and they're sort of more synergistic builds. So we wanted to make sure that it was easy to understand what the max potential of the build was and still provide players with variety to tune and sort of tweak. And we also added for every subclass sort of intrinsic values, so sort of really leaning into those fantasies and making sure that players have more tools. So it's a really interesting upgrade, I think, for our combat sandbox, and adds a lot of both depth and simplicity to the game.
No, absolutely. I thought it looked really cool. So that makes 4 subclasses available for each of the main classes?
We actually have 5 on display here that you can see either through the trailer content, and there's also some sneak peeks. So if you scrub the trailer and do pop-up video style, you might see some others in there. We're not talking about the full slate. We've got some reveals coming down in the pipe, but there's a lot of there. There's a lot of variety there.
The Cabal. I love to hate the Cabal. They were my least favorites race to go against enemy type in Destiny, and now they are back in Destiny 2. And I think a lot of fans out there were maybe hoping to see a whole new species of enemy, but we did see different variants within the Cabal that we saw in the gameplay reveal today. Can you talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, so Destiny 2 has more enemy variety than ever before. It's a pretty wide palette, but we're showing off the Red Legion here today. They're not just the regular Cabal. Like the Cabal on Mars that you fought were like the recon picket. These are the true warriors led by Dominus Gall. So you have the Incendior, who has a flamethrower. You've got the Gladiator that gets up and close and personal with like 2 burning blades. You've got like war beasts, like attack dogs that'll swarm you. They fight very differently. So we do consider them a new enemy race and some sort of an evolution of the Cabal.
All right, great. So I'm going to hate them even more is what you're saying. So I have some questions from our community. Since you are the head of community,
sure.
I felt it would be appropriate to maybe ask you some of these. So from @EC Miller, how does the departure from the previous game's primary special heavy weapon slot system affect weapon balancing?
It actually adds a lot more flexibility and freedom for players. So, in the past we had primary, special, and heavy, and they were very restricted on what you could do. So you always had a primary weapon that was really your sort of close, mid, and long-range go-to, and then you had special weapons which were sort of situational, a sniper rifle or up close with a shotgun. What we've done is we've made both those first 2 slots far more wide open. So you can have a hand cannon in those slots, you can have a scout, a pulse, an auto rifle, a sidearm. in both the slots. And the big difference is one is kinetic, standard ballistic fire, does normal damage against all enemies. The second one is an energy slot. So if you want to have 2 scout rifles, you can do that. And the really neat thing is that shielded enemies, you'll want to strip them with your energy weapon and then finish them off with kinetic. It also works well against supers and PvP. So if somebody's in, their super, they're up in the air in the Dawnblade, you want to switch to your energy weapon because it'll do a lot more damage while they're in there. It also lets us move a lot of what had become sort of special power weapons, like the shotgun and the sniper rifle, down into the true power weapon class.
Yeah,
so,
no, I felt the true power of that shotgun in the heavy weapon slot during PvP today.
Yeah, so you're going to have to earn those, and in PvP specifically, we've made changes too to make sure there's less prevalence of those power weapons. When they come out into the battlefield, you know about it, you can see the callouts in the map. But when you do have that powerful weapon, like a sniper or a fusion or a shotgun, it is a one-hit kill, but it's not omnipresent as it was in the past, where it was just in your special slot and you always had it. So it both provides a little bit more depth, and it also reins in some of the challenges that people had in the Crucible of having like a one-hit kill and they didn't really know what was going on, right? So we want to make sure our PvP is learnable, and we also want to make sure, though, that those weapons are, when you get your hands on them, really powerful, right? Because if you have a sniper rifle, your expectation is it's a one-shot kill, right? So we didn't want to like nerf sniper rifles, so we just found a better home for them.
So when you get a one-hit kill now, you know how you died.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot less opportunities for you to not understand in PvP. So another thing we've done in the HUD is show supers. So you can see, whether your teammates have supers, what they are and when they're ready, and same thing with the opposition. So that'll just add a lot of readability and learnability for players.
Absolutely. All right. At Salmons Don't Die, one of my clan mates asks if the stranger will return, because your boy is dying to know more.
Yeah, so there's so many opportunities, I think, in Destiny to tell stories about characters out there. Right now, we're really focused on Dominus Gaul and the Vanguard and the player's role, and we wanted to make sure our opening salvo landed on our story, but who knows? I mean, we know players are really curious about a large number of characters and when they're going to come back, and that's, I think, part of the fun about working on Destiny is the palette is so big. You can go and do a bunch of fun stories that are, down the main line plot or off to the side, and just provide a lot of different looks in. I think if you look at some of the expansion pass materials that are out there, you can probably make some guesses about some other characters that might return, but today's all about Dominus Gaul and the Red Legion and your role in the story.
All right, I'll do some sleuthing. At Bodril Hoke, sorry if I messed that name up, wants to know, is the multiplayer 60 frames per second?
No, it's 30 frames on console, and the PC version of the game is uncapped.
Uncapped, beautiful 4K.
Depends on your hardware, yeah. The PC version's uncapped frame rate, a bunch of bells and whistles. You can do keyboard mouse configuration, support for widescreen formats, 21:9, 4K resolution.
All the bells and whistles.
All that fun stuff, yeah. And depending on what you have in your PC, right?
Exactly. At Cybermudez asks, vehicles, vehicles, vehicles. Are they adding more? I think I saw a tank.
You did see a tank.
That's your answer. Yeah. You saw a tank.
Yeah, the tank is definitely a vehicle we've added to the sandbox. It's really fun, it's really powerful, and we think people are going to really enjoy it.
All right. Steimer, do you have any other questions? Anything you're dying to know about?
I just want to know about gear, but I don't think they'll talk about it yet.
Gear's a super important part of the game, right? Like going out and claiming treasure, and we want to make sure that's plugged into the story more than ever before. So we have lost sectors where you can go into caves. In Destiny 1, you'd go into a cave and it was just kind of a dead end. It's not the case in
one cave.
Except that one the loot cave. Yeah. Yeah, no, I may have fired a few rounds into the loot cave myself. But yeah, instead of having a loot cave or a dead end, now when you explore a cave in Destiny, you'll find a dungeon, you'll find a boss at the end of it, some treasure chests to grab out of there, so loot is still an important part of the experience. We're also adding characters on each destination that have their own stories to tell, and you can go on adventures. Those adventures can teach you about the fiction of the world, or the fiction of the character, or the fiction of the enemies that you're fighting, and those also have theme rewards that you can earn and go out there and claim. So it's we want to make sure players have a lot of ways to express themselves and look at gear and feel really powerful. And so there's a ton of that stuff in the game. No, I mean, for us, this is just the beginning. This is our opening. It's super humbling to be here and see everybody excited about it. We wanted to put together a really big show and show people what we were working on, and I'm both really excited and really anxious and pretty humbled by the response, so it's going to be a fun year. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I know I'm personally super excited. Steimer's excited as well. Awesome. Big Destiny fans. And we look forward to September 8th. Yeah. Bye-bye.